Jagrata, Jam Masters. There's a line from Gibran's The Prophet that always struck me as so deep. I wonder how many get it. It says, the thirst that exists when your well is full is the thirst that's unquenchable. That really says it all. Poets have an amazing way, in such a short amount of words, to capture so much. Let's talk about that and expand that. First of all, if your well is not full, there's something you can do about it. You can dig another well, you can get water, you can do all kinds of things to try to fill the well. So let's say you're really, really worried that you're going to run out of water because the well has always been low. And now something happens, they redirect the aquifer, whatever, and your well is full. But it used to not be full for a long time, and therefore you kind of know that it might not be full again. You have that in your mind. You can't do anything about that. You hear me? Once that well is full, if the thirst exists when your well is full, that thirst is unquenchable. There's no solving that. So what he has done in that teaching is showed you the difference, which we're going to talk about tonight, between a problem and a mental problem. If the well is empty, you're thirsty, you have a problem. It's a real problem. You have to do something about it. If the well is full and you're afraid of being thirsty, that's a mental problem. That's not a real problem. And there's nothing you can do about it. Nothing. Well, I could dig another well. What if it goes dry? By the way, if you have 5 wells and the aquifer goes down, nothing for any of them. Okay? Your mind is welcome to think like that. And it does, doesn't it? Then you're in big trouble. Because there's nothing you can do to solve that problem. Why? Because there is no problem. The well is full. This is how deep that statement is. The thirst that exists when the well is full is the thirst that is unquenchable. Do you see that? Now let's expand that. There are 2 types of problems that you're going to have in your life. One is there is actually something happening now in front of you that you need to deal with. A car has cut you off and you're about to smash into them. You better do something about it. Okay? You better do something. Your child is sick and is in pain and needs help. You better do something. It's real. There's a problem that needs you to deal with it. That's one type of problem. But there's another type of problem. You listen carefully. This is the essence of the quality of life and spirituality. There is another type of problem, which is 100 to 1 the type of problem you have over the other. Right? I bought the car, but I'm not sure I like it. Is that a problem? No. There is no problem. You're causing the problem. What if you liked it? Then I wouldn't have a problem. But if you don't like it, then I have a problem. Well, then there's not a problem. There's just something you're doing inside your mind that is causing you to feel weird. Are you willing to honor that and respect that and see that? If somebody is cutting you off and that starts to skid in front of you, right? And you change your mind, oh, I don't think I'll go driving today. It doesn't matter. You're in big trouble. If your kid is crying and has some pain and your mind sits there and says, oh, I don't want to deal with this now. I'm tired. There's trouble because there's something real out there. But if your mind says, I don't like what she said to me. I don't think that was nice. I don't think anyways. I'm not sure how she meant it. But depending on how she meant it, I'm going to get really upset about this. You are causing that problem. There is not a problem. If the problem can go away because you changed your mind about it, then there's not a problem. There's just something you're doing with your mind. Do you understand that? You created the problem. You go in to have your hair done, and you're silly enough to say to the hairdresser, surprise me. All right? And, it's like when that thing comes off and you look at that hair, you have 2 choices. Because the hair is the hair. It is there. That is what it is. It is not a problem. It is not a problem. It just is the hair. The litmus test is this. If you decide to like it, is there a problem? Oh my God, this is great. This is beyond anything. I thought, oh my God. Now, where's the problem? It's not there. But if inside your mind you say, oh no, that's not what I was thinking of. Oh no, then you have a problem. Now, is the hair the problem or are you the problem? You have created that problem with your mind. I don't call those problems. Those are not problems. And those run everybody's life. What you like and what you don't like, and what makes you feel good and what makes you not feel good, and what you want and what you don't want, those are not problems. Those are fictitious problems. You are making them up in your mind. If you can change your mind and the problem goes away, then your mind was the problem, not the situation. You paint a room a certain way. You ever build a house? Where do you see how many problems you have? All right, anyways, I've built lots of them. Used to be a builder. So you sit there and build a house, right? And somebody picks a color. And then it's done and they come into the room. Oh my God, I have a problem. What? I don't like this color. What color? The white. Well, you said you wanted white. Yeah, but not that white. There were other shades of white. So wait till you see how many shades there are of white, right? When you go to paint a room or something, or you go down to the painting store, and they have what's called a fan of colors. It opens up, right? Do you know there's an entire fan for white? A big, thick, entire fan called whites. Okay? So you paint the wall, and you walk in, and your mind does that. Just ruined your experience of your house. You understand that? You're single, and you're kind of courting somebody, and all of a sudden they walk in and they go, did you pick this color? This is gorgeous. Oh my God, just walking in the room changes my entire vibration. Were you thinking of me when you picked this? How did you know? I've always loved this color. How you feeling about the color? Is there a problem anymore? These are fictitious problems. These are not real. These are exactly the same as a thirst that exists when your well is full, as a thirst that's unquenchable. So what is this? This is a different kind of a problem. It's not a real problem. It's a psychological problem. It's not a problem you have to deal with. It's a problem you created for yourself so you're not happy. Now, if I said to you that at least 100 to 1, those are your problems, and I'm telling you maybe 1,000 to 1, you have layered inside of you, don't you, thing after thing that has happened to you in the past that you didn't like. Still bothers you, doesn't it? Didn't just bother you when it happened. It's bad enough that you didn't like the white. You walked in and didn't like the white, right? You left the house, you moved the house, you sold the house, you moved somewhere else. You know, your husband or wife got a job somewhere else, whatever. You're not even in the house anymore. It's still bothering you. It's still bothering you. Oh my God, that time I picked that white. Why couldn't it have been? Does the past ever bother you? Does the past ever bother you? The thirst that exists when the well is full is a thirst that is unquenchable. What does that mean? The thing that is bothering you that is not even there. At least the well is there. This thing's not even there. It's only in your mind, isn't it? And yet you're letting it bother you. So this is why we don't have a nice life. It is not because of what's going on outside. It is true there are things that are going on outside that we will need to deal with. I will get to them at the end. Since they are like 1/100th of what's bothering you, we can leave it to last. All right? But you put first and foremost this mental problem that you are creating for yourself. You're afraid to go to a party. You're afraid to go on a date. You're afraid to go somewhere. Why? Somebody might be there that you don't like. You might not be wearing the right clothes. You are making yourself suffer for absolutely no reason. What if you go to a party and they said it was an informal party and everybody's wearing tux and fine dresses and you walk in slump? Okay, is that neat? You're avant-garde? You're different? I like it? Or is it, oh my God, I'm so embarrassed. I can't even. Oh. Which is it? It's whatever you want. It's whatever you do inside yourself. That's what your brother was talking about. The problems you create within yourself, by yourself, for yourself, are stupid. Okay? You're free to create any problem you want. I always kid everybody, the Beatles, they were pretty rich, nice people. I love them very much. That's my generation, right? They sang a song. You remember it? Will you still need me? Will you still feed me when I'm 64? How old were they? 18, 20, right? What in the world are you doing worrying about what's going to happen when you're 64, when you're 22 years old? All right? You are making problems for yourself. You are holding on to everything in the past that ever bothered you, even though 90% of it was just something you made up that you liked or didn't like. And now you project onto the future. I have a big one with that one too. The future does not exist. If the future is bothering you, you are doing it. Is that not true? Does the future exist? Has it happened yet? Then how can it be bothering you? How can something that doesn't exist bother you? I guess you're making it up, bothering yourself with it. I always take the following point like this. If you're going to make up a future, and you do, because one doesn't exist, you're going to make it up, make up a nice one. Why in the world, if you're going to make one up, would you make up one that bothers you? It just doesn't make any sense. Will you please look at how many things we've talked about already? Just go slow. And you're going to understand why you have so much trouble with your life, so does everybody else. One, you hold on to things in your mind from the past that you didn't like, that bothered you. You hold on to them, don't you? Childhood, mommy, daddy, first date, this, that, every single thing. I'm telling you, that may seem rational to you. It is completely irrational. If there is anything left inside of you about your past that is bothering you, I want you to get rid of it. Because it is of no benefit. Who is it helping? If you're going to do something, I did business. You know that, right? We have this thing in business where it's called a cost-benefit analysis. What does that mean? It means you look at what's going on and you say really it's yin and yang. You always say there's some positive and some negative that's going to come out of it. Well, what if there's 7,000 negative and 2 positive? Do you do it? Oh, you get an A. I hope you said no. What if there's 7 million positive and 2 negative? Do you do it? There, that's cost-benefit analysis. Why don't you wake up and do that inside yourself? Your past is not happening anymore, is it? If it's bothering you, what is the benefit? That one is 100 million negative, 0 positive. I want to spend one last moment and put the nail in the coffin about your past. Your past is over. There's not a single atom, not a person, not a thought, not an atom, nothing about the past that still exists. It all has morphed into the present. Every atom that was making up the past is now making up the present. Every quark, every lepton, every boson, if you're down at a quantum level, they were making what was, now they're making what is. The past does not exist. How can something that does not exist be bothering you? You are doing it to yourself. So the entire thing about the past, if it is bothering you and you know it is something that is self-generated. It is something you are doing to yourself. Stop it. There, that's spiritual growth. It's so easy. I'm telling you, if you would stop bothering yourself about the past, your entire life would change. Your entire life. Do you know why you're afraid of the future? Because you're holding on to what happened to you in the past that you didn't like, and you're afraid it might happen again. No, I don't want to go on that day. Why? His name's Ben. In 12th grade, I went out with a Ben. You're 42 years old, and come on, man. But you do that. Do you understand that? The past is seared inside of you, especially the negative aspects of it. And you are holding on within yourself for no reason. I mean, no reason. There's no benefit. 0. I've looked at it very carefully, and when I've challenged anybody, I've been doing this for 45 years, no one has ever given me a benefit. Ever. It is exactly like Gibran. What is the purpose of worrying about your well going dry if your well is full? But it might, so what? Deal with it when it does. It is not doing you any good to be afraid that your well is going to dry out when the well is full. There's nothing you can do about that. Your past is finished. Of what good is it to be bothering you? Well, it might happen again. I don't know what to tell you. There's 800 billion things that might happen. The probability of be exactly what happened to you before that bothered you is very slight, especially if what's bothering you is that your parents got divorced when you were 6. It's not going to happen again. Why? Your parents are dead and you're 43 years old. There is no benefit to letting your past bother you. And I'm begging you. You want to have a nice life? It's not about buying a new car. It's not about getting rich. It's not about traveling to Paris. It's not. That does not make a nice life. Why? Because you're taking you with you. All your little past things will get stimulated in Paris just like they will here. And you're taking that mess that you created inside with you. It's not going to change anything. What you need to do is wake up and realize, I'm a rational human being. I'm in here. This is my house. I have left a mess in my house. Everything that ever happened, I left inside for no reason. I mean, none. There's no benefit. It's irrational behavior, isn't it? So you get straight. And what does that mean? It means you stop doing it. People look at me and they say, well, I don't know what you're talking about. It's like when we talk about stopping smoking. If people come to me and they say, I'm having trouble stopping smoking, it's like, you want to stop smoking? Stop putting cigarettes in your mouth. I'm serious. Next time you feel an urge to put a cigarette in your mouth, don't do it. And amazingly, you will stop smoking. It's the most amazing thing in the world. You want to stop being bothering by your past? Stop holding on to it. Nothing stays in there except that you keep it in there. There's no tar paper in there. There's no super glue. Events come in and they go through. White lines on the road go through, don't they? Trees, you drive by them all the time, they go by. Cars on the road go right by. They don't do anything. You don't stay in there, do they? The only thing that stays in there is what you keep in there. And it's the silliest thing in the world. So something happens, it causes some disturbance. That's fine. It's perfectly normal, right? There's things happen, cause some disturbance. But then they're over. I'm not telling you to make it so nothing disturbs you. Things disturb you, don't they? Things happen. Let them go when they're over. If somebody's yelling at you, I know it's uncomfortable yelling at you. When they stop yelling at you, you should stop being uncomfortable. Why? They stopped yelling at you. If you're driving your car and somebody cuts you off, it's scary. It's scary to ram on your brakes and skid around. When it is over, do not be afraid to get in the car again. Do not be afraid to drive on that street again. Nothing has changed. You had an experience. You drove down that street 1,000 times before. Your next time you drive has equal probability as ever before for any other street for something to happen. So why is this that somehow we think it's important that I keep this inside of me that's going to protect me? It's not going to protect you. It's going to make you neurotic. It's going to make you scared. It's going to make you worried. It's going to make you incapable of experiencing your life. If you hear nothing else I ever talk about, get your past out of there. It does not belong in there. It's over. It's done. It had its day in the sun. Now it doesn't exist anymore. You say, well, don't I need to learn from it? You have learned what you need to learn. Thinking about it and being afraid of it and holding on to it, that doesn't help you learn. If you're riding a bike, ever fall off the bike when you're first learning to ride a bike? Believe it or not, that's how you learn. That's how you learn this thing called balance. You can't teach it to someone. All right, now listen, kid, what's going to happen? Talking doesn't do any good. It's something you have to feel. It's something you have to get used to. So the act of falling off the bike, the act of getting back up, these are learning experiences. If instead you hold inside of you that you're afraid of falling because you got embarrassed and it did this and it did that and you never ride the bike again, that's really dumb. You heard me? It was a learning experience and you go about your business and now you can ride a bike. But that's not what we do, is it? We hold on to the negative aspect of the experience and then it makes everything be negative. There is never a benefit to doing that. Never. Never. Well, let's say I was married and he was terrible or she was terrible and I had a terrible experience and then we got divorced and it was terrible. Don't I have to remember all that and hold on to that and make sure I never do that again? Ready? No. And if you remember it and hold on to it and make sure you never do it again, it will happen again. You will start to see in the other person, you know what come out of your mouth? He used to do that. I didn't know you were going to be like, he used to talk to me like that. Holy, who's he? You know he. There's other guy I don't know he. Never met him. Right? You are bringing into the new situation your problem. And you're going to create it in the new situation. You learn from things because they happen to you. Learning is a natural experience. It's not a mental experience. It comes in and you learn. All right? Now when the next situation unfolds, the wisdom, the knowledge of experience will all mesh together and help you interact with the current moment. It's not a mental thing. If you're learning to play tennis and you're not good with backhand and you're practicing, every single time you hit that ball back, even into the net, it's a good thing. You're learning. You're building the power of your muscles. You're building your reactive power. If you sit there and be thinking, what did I do last time? You're not going to be a very good player. The mind's not fast enough. The mind gets in the way. The actual learning is something that becomes ingrained inside of you. So I'm going to move on. Your past is over, and it does not belong inside of you, any of it. And if anything inside of you is saying, no, it's important that I remember how much it hurt me, you're wrong. What is the benefit? It doesn't make it not happen again, all right? It just makes it so it keeps hurting you over and over again. So a lot of people, when I talk to them this way, they say, I've never thought of it that way. Well, then think of it that way. Because while you are carrying your past inside of you as a negative experience, you have to look through that to see the world, and it will color your world, won't it? You ever heard of a Rorschach test, the ink blot test? Do you know what it's doing? Trying to see what you have in there about your past. It's an ink blot. What does it remind you of? Mommy and Daddy fighting. What does this remind you of? Daddy leaving. What does it remind you of? Mommy and Daddy getting divorced. There's just little squiggly figures on a piece of paper. What's that all about? Oh, I guess I have a thing about that. Yes, you do. Get rid of it. How? Can we do that? First of all, is it possible to completely, 100% clean out in there so you're not carrying your past with you so that you can interact with the current moment? Yes. Every single person is capable of purification. Every single person is capable of releasing this garbage that they're carrying inside of themselves that is causing a problem when there isn't any. If you're having a problem with your past, you're wasting your problems because it's not happening anymore. There's some real stuff going on out there you need to deal with. In there, there's real stuff we need to deal with. You can't because you're too busy with the make-believe stuff you built inside yourself. How do you let it go? You let it go. It's like I told you with smoking. Something happens, you feel an urge to smoke, don't, and you'll stop smoking. It's the same thing here. Your past is trying to release. That's why it keeps coming back up. It comes up in your dreams. Things remind you of it. It doesn't want to be in there. It's not natural. You are using your will to suppress and repress and hold these past experiences inside of you. Stop doing that. What do you mean? Something is going to stimulate something you stored in there. It's going to start to come up. But it doesn't feel good. Well, it doesn't feel good to want to have a smoke when you decide to stop, or to want to have a drink when you decide to stop, does it? Get off heroin. It's hard to go through withdrawal. It's exactly the same. You have to want to do it more than you want to avoid what it feels like to let it go. That's the formula. You have to want to stop drinking more than you want to have a drink. Otherwise, you're not going to stop drinking. You have to want to get your family back and get your life back together and get off of cocaine or heroin or whatever the heck you're hooked on. And you have to want it pretty bad because I hear it's pretty tough to go through withdrawal. But there is no getting off of it without withdrawal, because that's what the process of purifying and getting all that out of your system so that you don't have the urges anymore. But it is possible to do, isn't it? It's exactly the same with your past. I want you to look at your past exactly the same. It is a drug that's bothering you. It's something that doesn't belong in there, anything. So what will happen is naturally, very naturally, something is going to happen in life that hits your stuff. Can I use that terminology? You know about that? Hits your stuff, all right? And it starts to feel uncomfortable inside. A yogi, a yogini, a person who's growing spiritually, guess what they do about that? Good. What do you mean, good? Good. If I want to play tennis, and I got a tennis pro on the other side of the court over there who's teaching me, and he or she happens to hit it at an angle that I suck at that angle. It's terrible. It just goes on the ground. Doesn't even make it to the net. Guess what that is? Good. Good. Hit another one like that. Why? I want to learn. I want to be good. I don't want you hitting it every place I can slam it. That's not what's going to happen in real life. So if something comes your way and it causes a weakness to be seen, a wise person says, good, thank you, this is wonderful. So if something happens and hits your stuff and you start to feel uncomfortable, you know about that? Start feeling uncomfortable and, ooh, it'd be really cute what it feels like in there, doesn't it? When something hits your past. It gets all weird, all right? The answer is good. Inside, not outside. Good, thank you. You have to welcome its release. Just like the withdrawal, just like letting the need to drink pass through you. You don't need to stop the fact, and you can't stop the fact that you're addicted to smoking, to drinking, to drug, whatever it is. They're addicted. That means there's going to be this need. There's going to be this urge to do something. That's not the problem. The problem is that you're not willing to withstand the urge and let it pass. It'll pass. Everything passes. That's the nice thing about life. Every single thing passes. Nothing has ever in the history of the universe not passed. How do you like that? Every electron passes, every atom passes. Nothing's ever the same from one nanosecond to the next. Everything will pass, but you don't let it. So it comes up and you push it back down, or you blame somebody for saying what they said. I don't like when you talk like that. It reminds me of my father. That means you have a problem. Why don't you want to get rid of it? Why do you want to run around with your problems inside of you? Then you have to avoid everything so it doesn't hit it. A wise person says, this is what liberation means. Liberation means I don't have to run around avoiding myself anymore. I don't have to run around avoiding myself anymore. I'm real sensitive. This person might say that, and this person might see my ex, right? I'm running around afraid of myself. I don't have to do that anymore. Period. I'm liberated. I'm free from myself. That's what liberation means. So you want to work for that. So basically, we're going to move on. The world is going to unfold. It is going to hit anything and everything. It's so funny. It is going to hit everything and anything you have stored inside of you about your past that you didn't like. And that's what's inside of you, the parts you didn't like. Okay, in general, most of that. And it's going to hit it. Good. You got to get to that point. Good. Because I want to get this over with. I want to be free. I want to at least live one day of my life where I wake up in the morning giggling because I'm not afraid of anything. And I go through the entire day enthused and excited and like a kid, right? Just this total inspiring, passionate energy without any fears or any anxiety or anything. How'd you like to live like that for even a day? This is how you do that. You can't live like that if you have this stuff stored inside of you and you're afraid that somebody's going to say something, the world's going to hit it, and you know you do, all right? So what'll happen is you change your attitude about it. It's going to come up. Fine. I'm not telling you to make it not come up. Believe me. I'm saying when it comes up, welcome it and let it pass. Just relax inside, let it come up and pass, but it hurts. I know. It was stored with pain. It's going to come up with pain. So what? Look how much stuff you go through. We go through all kinds of things, don't we? This one's really worth going through. You really get something. People put out a lot of energy and don't get squat. I want to go to Hawaii. I want to go to Hawaii. Right, for 2 weeks or a week. And you kill yourself and work overtime and do oh my God, what you go through. You go to Hawaii. Big deal. Go to Hawaii. Come back in a week. You have the same problems you had when you left. And maybe it's worse because you don't like the house anymore. Right? What did you get for all that effort? Nothing. This, you get a new person. You get a new you. You get a new lease on life. Everything becomes more beautiful because you don't have to waste your energy worrying about yourself. So this is how a wise person views the past. You are welcome to come up anytime you want. The worse, the better. The more it hurts, it means the more trouble it was causing in there. You ever hear when you work out, what do they say? No pain, no gain? Good. I'm telling you, change your attitude. Why are you willing to say no pain, no gain when you're working out, when you're running, when you're trying to be in the Olympics, when you're doing, oh my God, triathlons? People tell me I run 63 miles. 63 miles? Yeah, I bicycled across the United States without stopping. 3 times with no water. I'm like, oh my God, how do you do that? Why would you do that? I wanted to prove to myself that I could. This is so much bigger than that. This is like, man, you totally get a whole new you, a whole new lease on life, a whole new, everything's better. Your relationships are better. Your food tastes better because you don't have to mess with this garbage you have inside yourself. So no pain, no gain. You do it with all this stuff outside. You do it with athletics. Oh my God, what people do to win an athletic game. But the net result is, why won't you do that inside yourself? Why are you a baby about inside yourself? You guys are pretty tough, right? We're all different, but you're still pretty tough. If you're playing volleyball and you get a little black and blue, I'm going home. No, you don't do that. You play through it. Why, if something bothers you inside? Are you like the biggest baby that ever lived? He hurt me. He didn't say hello to me. He said hello to her. I don't want to see him again. I don't want to do anything. I want to go home. I don't feel good. I want to go home. Imagine if you behaved that way on the athletic field. No, she bumped into me. And that wasn't nice. And I'm going home. All right? So you wake up and you realize, I can handle this. It's just an energy pattern passing through. It's not even real. At least the black and blue mark's real. This thing's just energy coming up inside of you. Why are you afraid of it? Stop being afraid of it. And stop telling yourself you can't do this. You tell yourself, I can and I will. It's that simple.
So the next thing, you don't have to worry about what's coming up. You don't say, well, how do I know what's down there? You don't need to know what's down there. It is completely sufficient that you let go of what's actually coming up. You don't have to worry about what's not coming up. You don't have to worry about when it's going to come up. You don't have to worry anything. You let go of what's coming up now, you're out. It's fine. It's a here and now thing. If you can let go of what's happening now inside, right, it will over time, you'll get stronger, then the next thing will come up. You'll get stronger, and it does it in just the right order, right? It's because the fact that you are stronger, you're willing to let it come up. Before, you would never touch that stuff. You push it down while it's still in your subconscious. So it's the same thing as you get better with the tennis ball. How'd you get it to where you could hit that? You didn't hit it before. I practiced. As you practice, you get better at this. Therefore, the next one can come up, and they will all look the same. Once you get ready to say, I'm not afraid of the pain that I feel inside of purification. I'm not afraid. I don't want to live in here afraid. So I want to let it go. I want to, period. You remind yourself of that constantly. And don't worry, everybody will help you. Your friends, your enemies, your husband, your children, everybody will help you, right? Everything hits your stuff, doesn't it? You will find out over time that the less stuff you have, the better off you are. It's a whole nother life. So this is what you do about your past. You stop creating a melodrama inside yourself about things that aren't even happening. They're over. They're done. And you learn this process of letting go. The next one we come to is the future. All right, we can do the present first, right? The present, what happens? The world is unfolding. There it is. If you stop creating problems, this one comes down to the past, like I said, is dead. That was so easy. This one comes down to like and dislike. I know I've talked to you about that before. Just as getting rid of the past is essential to have a happy life. You can't build all that junk up in there. What did Christ say? You can't build your house on sand. That's what you got in there, isn't it? You got all this junk in there that you stored, and now you're building your house on top of it. Literally, everything is built on top of that. No, let it go. Now the present is about like and dislike. What do you mean? Like and dislike are things you make up inside your own mind. There is no like or dislike. Do you like the fact that Saturn has rings? I hope you just look at me like, that's a weird question. Yes, it's a very weird question because it's none of your business. It is none of your business whether Saturn has rings. Do you like the thing she has around her neck? It is the same as whether Saturn has rings. It is none of your business. You're just seeing something that exists. Do you like the fact that there's a spider outside building a web? No, I don't like spiders. Well, then you're not going to be a happy camper because there are spiders. And you're not going to be a happy camper because Saturn has rings. You're not going to be a happy camper because she's got a thing around her neck. Like and dislike are things that have nothing to do with reality. I mean nothing. They're things you make up in your mind. What you like, he hates. What you liked yesterday, you can't stand today. It makes you sick because you had one more experience. What are your likes and dislikes? You were not born with these things. They're learned experiences, your likes and dislikes. When you were little, when you went into 5th grade, your math teacher, you had a little crush on him or her. You love math. You're really good at math. When you're in 5th grade, you failed a couple of math tests. You got a little confused. People laughed at you. I'm not good at math. I don't like math. These are learned experiences, right? Yes, we all have different abilities. That has nothing to do with like or dislike. You're the one who puts the tag on it, like and dislike. So you get to the point where you understand like and dislike are not the solution to my life. They are the destruction of my life. They are making it so that I can't experience the reality that is unfolding in front of me. Why? Because I'm judging it. I'm just saying I like it, I don't like it. Color of the wall, I came into the color of the wall. I can't like my house anymore. I literally had somebody tell me once that I used to build with, sit there and say, it's not so much the color, it's that I'm afraid that someday I'll walk into my house and be mad at myself for having picked that color. And I'll have to live with that forever. The thirst that exists when your well is full is the thirst that is unquenchable. When I was building, we built a house for this lady, right? A cute little Cape Cod-like little house. It's still there. And I'll never forget. She said, I'm so anxious. I can't, oh my God, I'm building this. I said, hey, I'm a good builder. You saw all the stuff we built. She said, I know, it's not you, it's me, but I just can't sleep at night. I said, why? We're doing great. She said to me, I'm just afraid that someday I'm going to walk in that house and I go to plug in a lamp and there won't be an outlet right there. I said, that's what extension cords are for. I mean, what? She said, no, it will mean I did something wrong. It will mean I didn't design it properly if someday I go to plug in an outlet. You know, the thirst that exists when your well is full is a thirst that's unquenchable, right? It's like, I mean, you're not going to have outlets all over the stupid house. You'll be fine, but not if you tell yourself you won't. So this thing about like and dislike destroy your mind. You have to sit there and say to yourself, God, I love building this house. I can't wait to see if the outlets end up in the place where I expect them to be. It's going to be so much fun. If they're not, I get to buy an extension cord. I wonder what color I'll buy. Right? I can get one of the ones that is elastic thing. Oh boy, this is great. Do whatever you want with your mind. It's your mind. There's nobody else in there. Why would you choose to cause trouble for yourself when all you have to do is choose to not? It's free of charge. So if you want to buy into the like and dislike thing, it's okay, but I care about you. Here's how I want you to buy into this, the like and dislike thing. When you like things and they happen, how do you feel? Good. When you don't like things and they happen, how do you feel? Bad, all right? So therefore, not liking things, how often does not liking something bring you happiness? Well, never. How often does liking things bring you happiness if you get them? Fine, all right? Start liking more things. Just start liking more things. Let's say now you don't like the rain, but you like the sun, but not too hot. All right? Start liking the rain. How? How will I start liking the rain? The same way that you work out, the same way you let go of your past. Just get in there and get your act together in there. Your mind, you have let your mind formulate these opinions on their own. Something happened when rain, you ended up not liking rain. Something happened to you, you met your lover when it was raining, and you love the rain. It reminds you they're playing our song, drip, 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 drip. Whatever you want, it's any way you want. In there, it's any way you want. Are you the only one in there? Anybody else in there? Mommy, daddy, brother, sister, husband, wife, kids? Nobody else is in there. So why are you doing this? It doesn't make sense. So instead, you buy into these they're made up, your likes and dislikes. They can change in a minute, can't they? Ever change your mind? It's so funny. It's fun to talk about this. Why? You can change your whole life all by yourself. You don't need somebody. You don't have to get rich. You can change your whole life all by yourself. Then you go rich, have fun, whatever you want. Nobody's telling you not to have fun out there. But you can't have fun out there if you're carrying the menagerie of your past inside of you and you have this entire array of likes and dislikes and get upset when they're not that way. It's not fun, is it? It feels like you're struggling. It feels like you're suffering. This is why. It is not because of what is happening with the world. It's because you have a mess in there and you're not straightening it up. So what do I do with my likes and dislikes? You look at them and you stick your tongue out at them. You like the fact that the person in front of you is driving the way you like to. They're pulling over to the right so you can pass. Oh, I like that so much. You don't like the fact that some person's driving slow in front of you and you can't pass. They won't pull over to the right. What are you doing? Why don't you just enjoy driving? And there's all different kinds of people and you get to meet them. Here's the one. I like the one who drives 30 miles an hour below the speed limit. Just have fun. Have fun. Why? Because you decided to. It's called unconditional well-being. You just decide, I'm going to like the weather. Why? Because it's none of your business. And you're not going to change it anyways. So you might as well like it. Do you like it when it gets really hot? Do you like when it gets really cold? Yes. Do you like if you sweat, you go outside and you start perspiring? Oh yeah, I love it. It's like a waterfall. All right? Do you like when it gets cold? You have to shiver and cuddle up. I love cuddling up. It's fun, right? Do you like when it rains? Yes. Do you like when it's windy? Oh, yeah, windy is so neat. Why just decide you like it and then work with yourself until you do? There's nothing wrong with that. Don't tell me, but I really don't. That's like telling me I'm not really good at tennis. I'm not really good at working out. You follow me? You learn. What's that word? Isn't that the word we use? Learn? And if you learn anything, why don't you learn this? Instead, you say, I'm just not that way. Well, you didn't know calculus when you started calculus. You didn't know tennis, you started tennis. You didn't know piano, you started piano. There's all kinds of stuff you learned, didn't you? If you learn this, it will change your life. And so you be patient with yourself. The past, you let it go. It has no benefit. No more cost benefit that doesn't work. Your present, you start to be in awe of the unfolding of life that's in front of you. Look, there's a person. Look, it's talking. Look, I understand what it's saying. Wow, I don't understand what caterpillars are saying or what dog barks mean, but she's making a noise, and I understand it. That's very neat. That's wonderful. I told you, if you're smart, I'm going to move on from the present, and we'll get into the future for a second, but listen to me. This is why our life is terrible. Every day you get into your car, I've done this with you before, I'm going to do it again. Every day you get into your car, don't you? Numerous times a day. And there's this key, right? And you get it into the hole, don't you? Do you reward yourself? Do you say, oh, you're so good, I can't believe you got that? I do. I can't believe you got I mean, because I just go, sometimes I'll play, right? And I just go real fast. Boom, and it goes right in the hole. Yours does too, you're just not paying attention. That's phenomenal. That's really good hand-eye coordination, right? And you just get into the hole and get excited. What if one time you went to put it in a hole and you couldn't? You'd get upset, wouldn't you? I'm trying to show you the tendency toward negativity is phenomenal. Let's say you go to start your car and it doesn't start. How you doing? How you doing? Having fun? No, it's a terrible experience. You don't like it at all. How many times did you get in and it did start? Are you happy? It started. Wow. So I'm telling you, you think I'm being silly. I'm telling you that's how big you are to the tendency of negativity. And you wonder why your life has so much trouble. So if it starts 7,000 times in a row, you don't get good about it. It's nothing. But if it doesn't start, it's a big drama, terrible thing. Change how you interact with life. Change it. Change your attitude. Change your view. You can make anything be okay. I told you, there are things that happen outside that are not okay, that you need to deal with. I haven't talked about those yet, have I? But yet I'm talking about your whole life, all right? The real ones that are really a problem are very, very rare. It's very rare that lions are out there jumping on you, you don't know what to do. It's really very rare, even though we hear about it all the time. I'll look at every one of you. How many times does somebody actually walk up and stick a gun in your face and say, give me your money? What percentage of the times, of all the moments you've lived in your life, what percent had the gun stuck in your face? It's a very small percent. And yet, that runs your life. You have the right to instead sit there and say, I don't have real problems all the time. I'll deal with them when they happen. But I'm making up all these problems. I'm making up the problems from my past, not happening anymore. I'm calling it a problem if something is not the way I like. That's not a problem. I'm calling it a problem if something's happening that I don't want to happen. Not that it's a problem. I just don't want it to happen. I don't want him walking while I'm talking. All right? You do anything you want. So since you can do, is it not true you can do anything you want? Then since you can do anything you want, why not do something that makes you feel good and something that makes you feel bad? All right. So the past is gone. I'm taking you to enlightenment. This is what it is. This is the path to spiritual enlightenment. When you're done with this path, you're enlightened. How do you like that? I forgot to tell you that. It's not when you're done with this path, you get to have a nicer life. All right? This is very high stuff. You know, Buddhists talk about empty mind. Empty mind, the empty bell. That's what they're talking about. They're saying you cleansed yourself of this garbage that you have built up inside yourself. That's what empty mind is. And it's a very high state. It's a very high spiritual state, what we're talking about. Seems funny, seems simple. Do it. So your past, let it go. I don't want it coming up in there. Your present, stop judging things based on what you like and don't like. Your likes and dislikes are the most irrelevant thing in the whole world. His likes and dislikes don't bother me. My likes and dislikes bother me a lot. The likes and dislikes are a problem. They're not a solution. You've been sold a bill of goods. It's crazy. Decide what you like and decide what you don't like, then go make it happen and make it avoid it. Oh, good. Have fun. Have fun. Have fun only liking that which matches what you decided. How often does that happen? Well, no wonder you're not happy. Make sure that nothing is the way you don't want it to be, and you got a lot of wants in there about what you don't want. And that's why you're miserable. That's why you have tension. That's why you have anxiety. That's why you're afraid to do things. All of it is because of likes and dislikes. A wise person doesn't do that. Or if you want, it's one or two ways. Either get rid of likes and dislikes or like everything. Either way, it's all the same. Just like everything. Like the weather, like the people, like nice people, like mean people. Oh, he was so mean. Oh my God, you see what he said to me? He was like, have fun. Have fun. Yeah, my ex, I'd be the worst accident I ever was. Every time I think of it, it makes me laugh. He's gone. Bye-bye. Will you please have fun in there? It's your house. So there's your past. Here's your present. And now there's this thing called the future. I already did that with you. The future is so easy. What are you doing? It doesn't exist. You're making it up. But what if I can't get a job? What if I get a job and I get fired? What if I meet somebody and the job that I have doesn't earn enough money to where they're happy with what I'm making so they don't marry me? I don't like my job. My God, you're 12. They start younger than that, all right? And you got this mishigas going on inside your head where you're causing yourself problems about what might happen. Again, two choices. Stop it, all right? Or if you're going to bother to make up a future, make up a nice one. You're just making it up anyways. If you sit there and say, but what if the thing that I'm making one up and I'm not ready for the negative that could happen. If you are clear, centered, and not bothered by yourself, you're ready. You are way more ready than if you're neurotic inside because you spent your last 10 years worrying about everything that could possibly happen. And then something happens, you think you're ready? You think you're ready if something happened? You're going to freak. Oh, yeah, there it is. I was afraid of it. Oh, my God, what do we do? No, just be there. Just be present in the moment. Bring your consciousness to bear. Be open. Do you understand that? Here, I'm going to give you a job interview. You're looking for a job. All right? You tell me who's more probable to get the job. The person who's scared to death and they might not get the job, or they might not wear the right thing, or they might say the wrong thing, and they're sitting in an interview nervous and worried and concerned, right? Or the person who sits there and says, oh boy, I get to go meet the boss. I wonder what they're going to ask me. This is going to be fun, right? And has a totally positive attitude about the entire experience. Maybe even couldn't care less if they get the job. They're just having fun having the interview. That person's getting the job. I've interviewed plenty of people, right? If somebody's got that positive, bubbly, open, enthusiastic attitude, you want them around, don't you? As opposed to somebody who's scared and nervous and afraid of what they're going to say. You are always better off getting rid of that stuff that you built up in there. It's not what you want to carry. So your past, let it go. When it comes up, relax. It takes time. I know I'm making it sound easy. It's not that easy because you're just like it's not easy to go off of drugs. It's exactly the same. There's this habit you have of keeping the past, the problems of the past inside of you. Don't do it. It's not a nice place to keep them. Let them go. You're present. I know this is hard for you because it's so anti what we're taught and what our culture is. Please notice how many likes and dislikes you have. Don't do anything about it. Just notice. Likes and dislikes ruin things. They make you afraid if you have dislikes, and they make you anxious and all kinds of stuff about if you want something, you like something, you cling to it, and you're afraid of losing it, right? They are not healthy things. Healthy is I am open and ready to seize the moment, to interact with the moment, to let it touch me, to learn, to move on. That is what a healthy person does. And you're capable of doing it. How do I do that? When the light comes up and you start getting weird because you like something, right? Relax. It's exactly the same as letting go of your past. Just relax. Cool it. Just cool. Down, boy. Down, boy. It's okay. Relax. And you will see that it will come and it will go. It's called transcending the personal self. You just don't suppress it. Don't get mad at it. But what if I don't like something? I don't want to go there. There might be a snake. But there's thousands of people there. It's Disneyland. No, don't do that. Please, all right, or you will ruin your life. So instead you sit there and say, oh, this is fun. I wonder what's going to happen. And you let go of the part of you that built up these strong likes and dislikes, little by little. And the future, I already told you. You have two choices. Either there isn't any, I can't wait to see what it's going to be, and I'll interact with it when it comes, or anytime I want to think about the future, I'm making it nice. You have the right to do that. You're making it up anyways. You don't know a thing about the future. You're just making it up. So what did you do about the future? Boy, it's going to be fun. How do you know? I just know. There. That's a much healthier attitude than, oh, I'm scared. I don't know what's going to, oh my God, it might not be. What are you doing? So this is the talk on, would you like to have a nice life? Notice I didn't say one word yet, and maybe I won't, about the real problems outside. Because they're so infrequent, they have nothing to do with your life, right? If you will do this and not bring into the moment neurosis, you will know how to deal with the problems that come in front of you. If somebody cuts you off, please don't start screaming, I didn't deserve this, I didn't do anything, I don't want to do this, I don't want to do it, because you're going to hit the guy. Just when the person cuts you off, be there. Be there, pay attention, try to see how to best deal with the car and the person such that you don't hit them. You will do much better than the person who throws their hands up in the air and jumps in the back seat to protect themselves. And that's true of all of life. When I give you the example about driving, that you're driving through life all the time, aren't you? Right? And there's obstacles pop up in front of you. Right? People say things, do things. Wake up. This is your world in there. And so if you will work with your past the way I said, you will work with the present to where you just appreciate that it's unfolding in front of you. It's a neat planet. Why don't you come visit? All right? You're on the planet Earth. This is what's going on here. Be here and let go of all these likes and dislikes. And then the future, either just, you don't need to think about the future. If it's your job to do appointment scheduling, then that's now. Okay? You don't have to think about what if someday it's my job to do appointment scheduling. No, that's, and I'm not good at it. And so I get fired. My God, what are you doing? You're just sitting there you're having a waking nightmare. You're having a nightmare. You're creating it yourself. Stop it. Stop it. So either let it go completely or work with yourself to where you think you're going to enjoy whatever's going on. And your whole life will change. Everybody around you will change. Your interaction with everybody around you will change. People, you better get a stick because you're going to have to fight people off. Because the energy coming off of you, the enthusiasm that you have, the bubbly excitement energy is just so attractive that people will not be able to deal with how beautiful you are, no matter what you look like. It has nothing to do with what your body looks like, what your face looks like. It has to do with the energy that's coming off of you. So this is what I call spiritual growth. And I hadn't said the word God once. But if you do this, you'll come talk to me about God. Why? Because at some point you're going to get so high in there that you can't hold yourself down. Literally. Energy, all the energy you wasted fighting with yourself will start to rise up inside of you. It literally will start going up. You don't have to do yoga or anything. You should, but you don't have to. All that energy will go up. You'll start feeling this ecstasy. We call it ananda, satchidananda. So the energy will start flowing up inside of you, and you will, every second of your life, feel what you feel when you're at the intimate moment of intimacy, or when you won the ball game, or somebody's so proud of you. Understand that? Those peak experiences that Maslow talks about? Every second of your life, it will be going on inside. And it doesn't get old. Master called it ever new joy. It's this rush of constantly new, beautiful energy, lifting your heart, You'll be enthused and passionate about every single thing you do. If you do the same thing 15,000 times over, you'll be more passionate about it the 15,001 than you were the first time you did it. Do you know that exists inside of you? That is your natural state, to be that high. And then you get really high. You get past that, and next thing you know, the energy inside you starts merging with bigger energies. And this is the whole spiritual path. But you don't have to worry about that. That'll happen by itself. But you do have to worry about what I talked about, because that's your job. You have a job to do. Cleanse. Purify. Let that junk go inside of you, and things will become very beautiful. Jagrative.